Something's got to give, but apparently it's not going to be the quarterback. Welcome to Browns Tonight. I'm CARLY Mascitti. Things are not getting any easier. Hate to break it to you. And this was supposed to be the easier part of the Browns schedule.
As the Guardians prepare to make a postseason run, they got here by outplaying expectations. If there's one guy who has believed in this clubhouse the entire season, it's first-year manager Stephen Vogt.
Take into account everything that we just talked about, 90-plus wins on the season this year. Do you deserve to be the American League Manager of the Year?
We looked at how the Browns have fared with top 5 picks over the last 30, 40 years, and the truth is more players fall under the it's complicated category or bust than there are players that have hit. I'm CARLY Mascitti at Rocket Arena, where the Cleveland Cavaliers hosted the Miami Heat, looking to do something that no other team in the NBA has done yet this season, and that's clinch a playoff berth while also extending an 11-game win streak.
The dust has settled across Major League Baseball after Thursday's trade deadline. Guardians fans exhaling a sigh of relief that all-star left fielder Steven Kwan stays put in Cleveland. Meanwhile, the Guards welcome the Twins to town, who traded 10 players from their 26-man roster. We know that this offensive line has just been such a talking point when it's come to injuries for the Browns. And you have a quarterback who has a history of injuries as well. How concerned are you as we do get closer to the start of the regular season that this offensive line is going to protect Deshaun Watson when he gets back out there and he is coming off of shoulder surgery?
Going out and getting Lane Thomas at the trade deadline, could you have imagined it would go this well?
But you're always hopeful it leads to days like this.
Yeah, they're going to need that to be the case because what the bullpen did last season wasn't normal. It was historic, right? It's already hard to translate year to year like that, any success at that level, let alone the way they did with the numbers that they put up. So the starting rotation is in an interesting spot. The rotation they start with probably isn't going to be the rotation they have at the end of the season. I think the silver lining to Shane Bieber's Tommy John surgery was that it gave Tanner Bybee the chance to step up.
Cleveland has waited 17 years to host another Final Four, and this year's is expected to be bigger and better than it was back in 2007. This Final Four has everything that you could possibly want. It has adversity and triumph, talent, stardom, and everything in between, and we're going to get to see all of it unfold here at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse tonight.
What was going through your mind when the Browns made that trade? Did it sort of start to come into focus for you?
I kind of knew just based off like my visit with them.
You brought up Myles Garrett. How excited are you to play on a line that features a player like that?
Really excited, thankful that, I got picked to a team that has a, cool vet.
Every Ohio State player, coach, fan knows you have to beat Michigan. But the Buckeyes finish on the wrong side of the scoreboard once again this year. Would you have thought that you would have the production on the field that you've had so far?
It's a very deep question because, obviously before every season, you always have high hopes.
Was there a moment for you that kind of switched, or was it just organic with the group that you guys have?
Probably when my face got on fire.
How did the team rally around you, and did that sort of also bring out something where you were like, I'm taking it to another level with these guys. I want to go out there and fight for them, because people couldn't believe you played through what you played through.
First off, thank you.
There's history all throughout this golf course, but the most famous hole is the 16th hole, commonly referred to as the Monster.
The win marked the 13th walk-off in a home opener in franchise history, and let's not underestimate the temperatures that they did it in. The second lowest game time temp in Progressive Field history, 35 degrees Fahrenheit. From outside the classic Auto Group Park gates here in Eastlake, it feels like any other night at the ballpark, but once you get inside, things are a little spicier than usual. Marv becomes the highest drafted wide receiver by the Cardinals since Larry Fitzgerald in 2004. We bring in sports director John Doss now back in studio in Cleveland. John, Marv talked about it. He said, I just want to go into Arizona. I want to be my own person, create my own legacy. But even he said, replicating a career like Larry Fitzgerald wouldn't be all too bad.
Tristan, your second stint in Cleveland, the team that drafted you, a team you won an NBA title with. How has it been to be back?
No, it feels good. It's a real full circle moment.
Why did you want to come back to Cleveland?
It's home. It always feels like home. Getting drafted here when I was 19.
The Guardians have been stabilized by their bullpen this season. The best bullpen in baseball, rounded out by the game's best closer, Emmanuel Clase. But in perhaps the unlikeliest of ways for Cleveland to lose this game, it was Clase who allowed a 3-run shot in the 9th that ultimately cost Cleveland Game 2. To be the first Columbus native to be drafted by the Blue Jackets, how cool was that for you?
The draft was in Columbus as well, actually, that year.
John, the Cavs are 12-4 in their last 16 trips to MSG. Unfortunately, we know none of those wins at the Garden were from this season. You already mentioned it. One of the toughest places to win in basketball. Is tonight the night that changes, though? Can they get that MSG win? The Browns allowed 434 yards of total offense. It's the most that they've given up the entire season. But as we were talking about before the break, The Browns offense also can't stay on the field. So how much do we sort of take that into account and evaluate what the defense is doing, but also considering that, I mean, some of these guys are just gassed. Whew, Cleveland pulled off a gutsy win in Milwaukee on the second night of a back-to-back. The Cavaliers remaining perfect after their toughest test of the season yet. The Cavs had to fight back in this one. They trailed by as much as 16 in the first to the Bucks, but there were 19 lead changes. It was tied up 8 times as late as the final 3 minutes and change.
The Browns have the 4th worst rushing offense in the league. They average just 88.5 yards per game, but that is going to be a differentiator in this primetime game tonight. Jameis Winston talked about it earlier this week. He said establishing the run is the easiest way, the most effective way to change the course of the game. You're able to impose your will on the other team. Obviously, a large part of that is going to be having Nick Chubb as a large part of the equation.
The Guardians moving their game at Progressive Field right behind me up to 1 o'clock should make Ohio State fans very happy. That opens up the Saturday night slate for Ohio State's top 5 showdown at Oregon.
You guys are going to be out
Browns
sick
3
for the
and
next
8
week.
after the
Yeah,
can you work tomorrow?
Overtime. Yeah, it's good. Don't worry about it. Go get warm, get dry. This is the kind of game you remember where you were when you watched it. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night. Thank you for joining us for the News 5 postgame show.
Emmanuel Clase has developed into the best closer in Cleveland baseball history. His record-setting 2024 season is highlighted by 47 saves, the most in a single season in club history, and 157 career saves, another club record.
You're 33 years old, you're a free agent, recovering from Tommy John surgery. Why Cleveland?
When they called and they showed how much they wanted me, I knew it was where I wanted to be.
Making all of those rehab starts, what did that do for you as you really picked up the intensity to make a major league start
Just
again?
more and more boxes to check.
I think we all feel like we could use some touchdowns. It's been a bit of a drought through the first 2 preseason games. All right, thank you, John. Thank you, Cam. That'll do it for us on our Browns post-game show. We will be back, same place, not the same time next week. The Browns are in Seattle. Browns Countdown will begin at 9 o'clock. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great rest of the night, Cleveland.